dough has now been fermenting for about 2 hours, so it's ready for dividing and shaping. Now I'm going to bake a number of different sorts of loaves, some half loaves which I will bake on a baking stone. If you don't have a baking stone, it's well worth investing in one, but otherwise you could use a heavy gauge baking sheet. I will also shape one loaf to suit this £2 loaf tin, and it's worth investing in a good quality tin. This is heavy gauge and it's coated nicely, and the loaf will never stick in this tin. So the first thing I'm going to do is remove this dough. Just a little bit of flour. There's so much water in this dough that it will remain a little bit tacky. So for that loaf tin, I'm going to divide off a chunk of about 900 grams. Oh, bad guess. Okay. So what I'm going to do to start with, I'm just going to fold this dough up into a rough ball. Not doing any real shaping at the moment. And I'm just going to flour an area of the worktop and drop that dough down while I divide the rest. So I'm going to shape a ball and a batard. That's the round shape and then an elongated shape, and for that I'm going to just use 500 grams. With practice this ought to be better. So that's one. I'm just going to fold in that dough, rough ball, drop it down. So another at 500 grams. Still quite sticky. If making a baguette, one might scale the dough at 350 to 400 grams. And obviously in my normal domestic oven I can't cook a baguette of that size. So I'm going to scale these at about 225 today and make a short batten. If the dough is too sticky, just a little flour on the fingers should do. Okay, now with the final amount, let me just check the weight. The final amount, I'm just going to shape a couple of rolls. Now you can scale rolls at various sizes. If I make a round roll, I typically want to scale that at 50 to 60 grams. But I often make a mini batard and I'll scale that often at about 70. So first of all, I'm going to take about 70 grams. Okay, that's just a little over. Perfect. And I think I'll take, yeah, that's 65, and I don't know what I've got left. 30 grams. I'll do something with that, but it will obviously be rather small. So this stage of so-called pre-shaping, you can partly shape this dough. It's firmed up, but before the final shaping, this needs to be sufficiently relaxed that you can properly work it without tearing this surface. So I'm going to let that sit for about 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes at the most, and then it will be ready for the final shaping. So the first thing I'm going to shape is to go in this loaf tin. Shaping is not just about making the right shape, it's about getting strength into that form so that it will keep that shape whilst it's proving, and then later as it bakes in the oven. And that's all about getting tension into the surface of the dough. So there are all sorts of different ways of going about shaping, but however it's done, it's got to get that strength into the dough. So this dough is still quite sticky. I'm going to need a little bit of flour. I'm going to need some of my hands. So I'm just going to degas this. That's all it needs. So I've got this in a slightly oblong sort of shape. And I'm just going to fold this into the middle, and that's going to create tension around the outside. First fold, then again into the middle. Then I'm going to roll this dough over, and with the heel of the hand, I'm just going to pinch that closed. Now if you've got too much flour, you can always just go along and make sure that's pinched to seal. Here it's fine. Just tension that up a little bit. And that's a nice shape to go in the loaf tin. I'll just drop that straight in. Now for the half loaves, I'm going to prove those on this cloth. Now you can buy special, what's called couche cloth for the purpose, and it's a thick grade of linen. You can get this by the metre. Or you can do what I'm doing here, and that's flour up a tea towel. These are linen tea towels, and I've got half a dozen of these, and I only use them for bread, so there's never any detergent or something funny on there. And I've got plenty of flour on these, because this dough will otherwise stick to the cloth. So what I'm going to shape here is a ball. This is a round shape. So I'll degas that as usual. Then I'm just going to fold this dough into the centre. And this is stretching this part of the dough, and that's going to give it that tension. Now I've got a rough ball shape, I need to get more tension into that surface, and that's done with the base of the hands here, just pulling it forward and using the friction on the worktop to just stretch this piece of dough. So work that until you're satisfied that this outside edge is nice and taut. You can see that's very springy, it's quite tight on there. You don't want to go so far as to tear the dough, because that would ruin it. So I'm just going to drop that down on that cloth where it will prove happily. So the next shape will be a bâtard. Now this is somewhere between a round shape and a baton. It's humped in the middle and typically quite pointy at the ends. So degas, and I want a somewhat elongated form for that. So it starts by folding into the middle. Now I take these two and I fold into the centre, and this creates this hump in the centre of the loaf. I fold over, press down with the heel of the hand, fold over again to finish that off. Then I can roll that a little bit to form the shape I want. So you can leave these ends blunt, or you can taper them up. So there's a batar. Again, I'm going to leave them on that to prove. So now on to a baton, and it's the same if you're forming a long baguette, you just need to roll it out a little bit more. So I'm going to degas that, and I'm going to fold into the centre, turn it round, fold into the centre again, and then close that up. At this point I can roll this to any length I like, starting in the middle and working out. Now you want to take a note of where the seam is. This seam you want to bake on the base. So I'm just going to roll that over and stretch that out on my couche. I'm going to put a little fold. I'm going to put a little fold in that there, which will separate it from the second baton. So, same job again, fold into the centre, turn it round, fold into the centre, fold that over and close it. Then roll out to the desired length. And again, you can leave these ends as blunt or as pointed as you like. So the final forms are for a couple of rolls. So the first one, I'm going to shape into a round roll, very similar to shaping a ball. I'm just going to degas that. I'm going to fold into the centre just a couple of times and then shape it with the hand. And that's a fairly tight ball. For this one, I'm going to form a very small batard, so I'll start with that a little bit elongated, fold into the middle, fold in the ears, over once more, and then like that. And I'm just going to roll this so it's nice and pointy, and there, that will make a nice dinner roll. I had this little scrap of dough left. What I sometimes do, just for fun, is make a very small baton. So, into the centre, turn it round, into the centre, fold it over, pinch it with the thumb, and then give it a little roll. There, a very small roll, just for fun. So all I need to do is cover these and allow them to prove. And they're going to prove for anything from 45 minutes to 90 minutes, depending on the temperature. So I shall leave these, I expect, for about an hour before I get the first ones in the oven. Now, the oven wants to be properly warmed up before you put the bread in. Now I like to bake on a baking stone, and so I will turn the oven on now to its initial temperature, and I will let that warm up and warm that baking stone through properly.